Two laps to go for Matt Craig. It has been an up and down, topsy-turvy race in the mid stages, multiple lead changes, multiple leaders, and one of those leaders getting caught up in a mid-race wreck. All of that has led to Matt Craig having to fend him off on the restarts, and now he's got one lap left to get the job done here in the Aaron's 250 at the new Florence Motor Speedway. He'll ease the car up to the grass and off of turn number 2 and ease it into turn number 3. Matt Craig will emerge off the final turn a winner here at Florence in the Super Late Model portion of the Aaron's 250 for the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Super Late Model Tour.
Did it work out exactly how you planned, especially in the mid stages?
Yeah, it worked out how I planned it to and wanted it to. These cars, got a lot of horsepower, not a lot of weight, and if you run hard, you won't have any tire left. Like, I don't know if some of us could even make it around the track if we ran hard the whole race. Kind of unfortunate, but tire saving is kind of fun. I mean, it's a chess match. It might look kind of boring and slow, but everybody's working a meticulous plan through that whole race there. And some of them are riding way back. Some of them are trying to keep track position, but my car was good. And it got a little hairy a couple times with that number 11. And number 11 strategy was go hard, and it don't really work out for him. But that was kind of hairy, and then we had that restart. Last restart got a little hairy over here in 1 and 2, but we were able to come out with the lead, and we had just enough tire and car to be able to pull away.
A dead heat at the line for the race lead. Nolan Pope underneath of Timothy Peters. He fell back early. Does he time it perfectly for a last lap pass into turn number 3? Pope sends it. Peters tries to rim ride.
He got him.
Off of turn number 4, Nolan Pope's going to win the Aaron's 250 at the new Florence Motor Speedway.
What a drive.
Wow.
Feels awesome. When I first started with them, I think it was, 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, we were just kind of riding in the back and listening to them over the years. Lee, Shady, Michael, they've taught me a whole lot, and just every year, every race, we keep getting better and better. And this has by far been my best year. I think we have 4 or 5 wins now. And they told me like a couple weeks ago that they knew I was going to get a Cars Tour win this year, and I honestly didn't believe them, but I knew we had a good shot. They bring great race cars, and like I said, they just teach me a whole lot. Even every weekend I learn something, so I can't thank them enough. My mom, my dad, grandma, grandpa, everybody. I mean, this is by far my biggest win, so it's pretty big, pretty special. I mean, I had no idea I even won, and I crossed the line, and my spotter just started yelling. I was like, did we just win? He said, yeah, he did. He was screaming. Everybody's crying. This is pretty special, pretty awesome.
All right, I got this thing ringing again. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Danny, are you with us? Danny Willard, Earth to Danny, Earth calling Danny.
Yeah, Doc Love, I got you loud and clear, buddy.
It's good to hear from you, my friend, Mr. Danny Willard. Fun racing weekend. What do you think? Have you been able to capture your breath after 2 great races this past weekend?
Yeah, I finally did. I know it's the middle of the week here, and I think I finally got back on track.
Yeah, me too, man. I tell you, it's awfully exciting going down there to new tracks and new fans and things like that. So, man, we got lots to talk about. So let's jump right into this. Of course, we want to welcome everybody. Race22 Radio. This is the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour post-race recap podcast presented by Black Acid Racing Apparel with series race director, Mr. Danny Willard. Black Acid Racing Apparel, be sure and search them up on Facebook, the official outfitter of Race22 Radio, and they can make you look presentable at the track as well. Hey, it's time for the big deal alert, Danny. For October only, teams can purchase 4 hoodies, 4 long sleeves, and 4 beanies, all for just $250. And that's in the month of October only. and that's right there with Black Acid Racing Apparel. So be sure to connect with them on Facebook, Black Acid Racing Apparel. That's a pretty good deal, Danny.
Yes, sir. I need some new clothes. I might have to check that out.
All right, so news and notes, rehash just things that we already knew since the last time we got together to record one of these things. As soon as we stop recording and I start editing, then the things start hitting the news again. So once again, the 10,000K to win Peach State event at the Gresham Motorsports Park, located in Jefferson, Georgia, easy for me to say. For the super late models, of course, that has been canceled. So we just want to make sure we touch on that a little bit. And for our final two races for the Cars Tour, the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour, the late model stock car champion will be crowned now October 25th, 2020 at the Greenville Pickens Speedway. The 30,000 to win Old North State Nationals will be a 2-day event, well 3-day if you count practice day. Time trials will be in heat races, and LCQ will be on Saturday, and the main feature will be on Sunday. And we'll get into those details a little bit later, so just want to get everybody up to speed. And with those changes to Gresham, the Cars Tour Super Late Model Champ will now be crowned at the All-American 400 Nashville Ground Speedway. Be run. The feature will be run November 1st. That's a Sunday, November 1st in Nashville, Tennessee. So, any other news items that you can think of, Danny, that we need to touch on real quick?
No, I think you touched on everything that's upcoming. So, good job there.
Yeah, we'll jump into more of those details on those here in just a little while. So, made that track down to Florence Motor Speedway in Timmonsville, South Carolina. It was so neat to it's been a while since I've been able to go to a new track, that I haven't been before the layoff, and now that I'm going again with this stuff. But I've never been there before, so it was so neat for the drive down there to see new areas and to kind of check out the local area and to see how the track's laid out and to talk with the fans. Holy cow, when I talked to Jim when I signed in, he said they were here at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I think they were ready for some good racing. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they were there early. I know we got there, I think we got there at 9:15 or something like that, and there was already cars there and people, chomping at the bit to get through the gates. I mean, it was a good thing to see.
No, absolutely. I agree with you, Danny. And did the heart good to see the fans really appreciative and had a great crowd Saturday night. So hats off to all the crew there at the Florence Motor Speedway. Of course, it was the Aaron's 250, October 3rd, this past Saturday, October 3rd, 2020. Race number 9 for the late model stocks, 125 laps. Race number 7 for the super late models, also running 125 laps. That's the Aaron's 250. Of course, calling the action was Tony Stevens, and had Steesh back up in the booth with him. Stephen Dunn, GSX Wraps and Graphic Solutions. And, of course, he does his own podcast, the Baloney Burger Podcast, with his buddy Kyle Painter. So be sure and check that out, Baloney Burger Podcast. Check it out. Good stuff. They love short track racing just like we do. So and Steve done a real good job with Tony. They do real good. Of course, Lenny Patecki on Pit Road with the CarsTour.tv and PitRoad.tv. Lenny Patecki with the PRN at the track does his thing there. And if you noticed, if you've seen the videos or the watch the race, or if you're there in person, seen Lenny running around, had his old arm all bandaged up. Well, real quickly, he injured his shoulder doing honeydew list around the house. How manly is that?
Yeah, he did. He did give me a little bit of information on that, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I said,
Now,
but you know what?
According to Lenny,
that's how it happens usually.
Yeah. Usually my beatings are before I could get out there and get started. That's what it takes, to get me out there going. But he was loading up some yard stuff, fertilizer, what have you, yard stuff, and was closing the tailgate on his truck.
Yeah.
And just felt something, rip in his rotator cuff or something in that area. So
yeah.
I want to wish, I think he is going to have some surgery, or at least I know good therapy. If he doesn't have to have therapy, hadn't heard from him. I checked on him, said he's doing okay, and waiting to hear from the orthopedic surgeon. So if he does have to go into the knife, we wish him well. We wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully that shoulder doesn't give him a really hard time for a long time. Man, we ain't getting no
yes,
younger,
sir.
and he's pretty active. So I know he don't want to be slowed down hardly any at all. So hated to see that
Right.
for Lenny. And it just happened like the day before, or Friday or Thursday or something like that. So it was just happened to him. So bless his heart. So we want to wish him the best as he tends to that shoulder there. So
Absolutely.
qualifying. Just take a look at the super late models first. Trevor Knowles once again back on top of the list. Went around that Speedway with 17.300 at 83.237 miles per hour. Of course, everything we're talking about now will be a new series record there for the Florence Motor Speedway. The super late models, the whole field was just over half a second, so we knew it was going to be in for a good race there. So let's take a look at the race there real quick as we'll break down some of the things that we need to jump into there, Danny. With the initial start, was it kind of close to being looked at? Because it kind of looked like the control car, which would have been Trevor, didn't get to the stripe first.
Yeah, we did look at it, and they got to the end of the restart zone there, so it was time to go, and it was a good start.
Okay, all right. So we'll put that one. Then had a couple of cautions here and there. 6 cautions. Had 3 leaders, 8 different lead changes. So everybody says, well, if you don't have 48 cars there at the track, it ain't gonna be a good race. Shoot, they had 11. They had 3 different leaders, 8 lead changes. Sound like a pretty good race to me. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, quality, not quantity. I mean,
Amen.
all racing events, and we had good quality cars again with our supers. We hate the car counts down, but I mean, you got quality cars. Most of the time, you're gonna have a pretty good race,
Yeah,
and it was a good race.
And the fans were cheering, and they were into it, and really. They were really electric Saturday. So they appreciated that race those 11 drivers put on for them. So Matt Craig led the most, 84 laps. Trevor Knowles led 26. And Michael Rich, when's the last time we got to say Michael Rich at the races, at the racetrack? He led 15 laps. So hats off to those. Might be a little bit smaller team, but they're out there running up front with these guys. A couple small cautions, and then let's take a look on how things went down with the caution number 3, the no start, following restart for the second competition caution. 11 of Michael Rich, not staying with the leader of 54, Matt Craig. And then they seem to have already, Michael's got a rival, if you will, because it looks like he took a swat at Craig under caution over there in turn 4. Either that was just to get his attention, or you're not doing the starts the way I want you to do them, which I don't know how that's going to work out, but don't know how to interpret how that was. But Danny, walk us through how you saw that restart and why you had to stop him.
Yeah, Michael, the 11 car, Michael Rich, 54 car, Matt Craig, he was our control car. So, he can controls the pace, keep pace car speed. You have the option to gradually pick up as you get to the restart zone. You can't slow down. And the 11 car was not up there with him. By the time the pace car, did get off the track there, 11 car was nowhere close to being up beside the 54 for some reason. And, the main thing is he was holding up, not giving the guys behind him a fair shake on that restart. I mean, he was basically about almost a whole car length behind the 54 there, and that's not the rule. The rule is you're supposed to be door-to-door, side-by-side, and it's your responsibility if you're a second-place car on the initial start or restart to keep pace with the control car, and the 11 car did not do that, so we had to do a complete restart.
And having said that, the control car at that time was Matt Craig. He can,
correct.
When the pace car goes down in, he can speed up, but he can't slow down. Is that correct?
Correct. He can gradually pick up the pace.
Right.
I mean, that's, and that the reason we do it that, if you gradually pick up, most of the time that keeps us from having the
domino
effect. The domino effect, people getting into the back of guys in case somebody does make a mistake or slip or miss a gear, I mean, you know, anything can happen on these restarts. Somebody miss a gear, you still might get hit in the rear end. But it kind of helps get the field hopefully a little bit off each other so they can freely make their way into turn one and hopefully, you know, go back racing, you know, and not tear anything up on a restart. That's the main thing we try to do, because if you slow down, as everybody knows, brake check and all that good stuff, that's when problems really happen most of the time on these restarts.
Oh, no doubt. And that's when the guys up front, you know, the first two cars start playing games with each other without trying to get caught.
Correct.
So, that's always interesting to see.
No, they wouldn't do that.
No. But a little, you know, for some of the fans that might not be familiar with the number 11, Michael Rich, he was a NASCAR winner. He won the when it had it broke up in regions. What was it the Mid-Atlantic region or Sun Belt region he won?
Yeah.
He was, what, 18 or 19 at the time?
Yes, I remember that.
Won the big late model race at Wilkesboro one year.
Wilkesboro.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he was getting a lot of attention coming out of late model in the early days of the, you know, what we still refer to as Busch Grand National, and had some opportunities there, and then jumped back to the Pro Cup, the original, you know, series that Cars Racing Tour is today, and was very successful, and was the man for a while. So he's no stranger to racing. Might be new to super late model racing, because, you know, I had a chance to talk to him after the incident we're going to talk about next on the caution number 4. There was some, you know, contact between him and another car, and but I asked him, you know, about, you know, learning the difference between super late models and late models. Now, I did get an interview from him, but old Doc Love, being the rookie that I am, I knew it before I left that I should have changed batteries in my little converter. We have a little converter that I use when we use the iPhone to do the videos. All the videos you see, you know, that me and Daniel do are with the iPhone, and we found a converter that allows me to hook up a microphone to it, so we can, you know, conduct good interviews so everybody can hear instead of trying to hear over all the ambient sound like a lot of other folks do. So we try to do it as best we could, you know, to come up with that, and it seems to work real good. However, it does require a battery, a 9-volt battery, and I knew it's been a while, and I thought, as I was finishing up packing, I thought, man, I need to change that battery out, and I didn't. Well, that was the first one that I noticed any, you know, something wasn't right. So, and I went and I did the interview with him. He gave me some good stuff, and even though he was hot, he was mad when he got out of the car, and I used to hang out with him in his shop there in High Point, and known him for a very long time, and we got the video of it, just no audio, because I'm a rookie. So, but if I, you know, put headsets on and listen to it, I can get his quote. So he stated he's not into laying back and saving tires. He's only and he's here to race. He said he's not into laying back, saving tires, to only race the last 40 laps. He comes to race. That was his quote, end quote. And then so, you know, he's coming hard-nosed. He's coming to race. So, you know, maybe there are a few things he needs to learn about the Cars Tour way, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. But on the next caution, Rich was between. Trevor Knowles was on the bottom. Carson Quapple was on the top. And Rich stated that if there had been a wall there, he would have hit the brakes, and everybody would have kept racing, just like several other similar instances through the race. But with Carson Quapple going off the track and then coming back and hitting Michael Rich, you made a call. Talk us through that there, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, you know, back up a little bit. That restart, the second restart, wasn't totally perfect. You know, the 11 car did lay back a little bit again, but it was, you know, it was close enough to where we could go back racing. You know, I'm not sure, you know, in the 11's car defense, I maybe, you know, maybe didn't know all the rules, but we'll go into that later. You know, we were going to talk about that later on in the deal. But, you know, they come off of 2, and 35, you know, was on the outside of 11. And, you know, from my point of view, it looked like the 11 probably running up high, and I understand what he's saying. You know, if there would have been a wall there, but there's not a wall there. Florence doesn't have a wall in the backstretch or in the turns. It's a very unique track, but maybe things would have been different. But the 11, he had run the 54 up there a couple times when he passed him for the lead. So I don't know if he had a push up off a 2 or what was going on there, but it wasn't the first time during the race that the 11 had put somebody in that position.
Gotcha.
So I made a decision, 35, I don't know if he made a heck of a recovery or if he was trying to turn down to get back to the 11. I can't answer that question on the backstretch. I mean, 35 went off the track. He took a left. I don't know if the car turned sideways when he ran off the track, but he took a left, got into the 11 car Rich's door, which, I can't answer the question there. 35 come to a stop there. We had to go caution. And then the 11 come on pit road, and I decided I was going to let the 11 sit there until, for a couple of laps, let him cool off and let, everything get situated there. But they decided they were out of the race and they were done for the evening. So, he never really got any penalty at all. And I told the team I'd like to see him after the race, but I don't know. They didn't get the memo or what, because after the race, I went down there looking for them. They were gone. But, I'll catch up with them. I'll catch up with the team. And, hey, we want them to race with us. Hey, we want everybody to race with us. I mean, they're a small team, yes. Michael Rich is not a small driver, though. Michael Rich, like you said, has won a ton of races. And, I watched him win late model stock race at Ace Speedway back in the 90s when he was racking up, and, when I was sitting in the grandstand, dreaming about becoming a race car driver, a race director, a flagman, or whatever. So, Michael, he's got a lot of talent, and I'm not going to take that away from him. So maybe he didn't understand the rules on a restart. So I want to go down there and talk to the team, the crew chief, the spotter, and make sure we were all in agreement on how race procedures were supposed to go. Because, like you said, this was Michael's second race in a super late model.
Right.
And maybe there was some confusion on what he could do and what he couldn't do, and I wanted to clear that up. So that was the main reason. It wasn't going to be a chewing, so to speak, but I want to go down there and make sure we're all on the same page, so next time that team does decide to run with us, we can make sure we're, we know the rules and we know what to expect as far as, courtesy and how we're going to move forward with our racing style with the car store.
There you go. And I, for one, definitely want to see Michael Rich back. And I know the officials and everybody that has watched him race over the years want to see exactly what he can do with the super late model. Because I used to say, if put him in a shoebox, he's going to be competitive. No matter what class, no matter what division. He's a world-class, short track racer, no question about it. And that, the talent just don't go away. I think he still has it. So, and I hope he comes back. I want to see him come back, and I like to see him, grow and race with these guys and start to figure out, man, you might have to manage these tires because they're not as hard as the old Pro Cup tires, and it's lighter than the Pro Cup car. So, it is some distance. I don't know if he's going to be able to run full throttle like he was at Florence, but I tell you, he sure did put on a show, though, didn't they? The fans were really, really into it and had a good time, and that was a good race. That was a fantastic super late model race.
It was, and I wish he wouldn't have had the luck he had, and I wish we could have raced this thing out because I think he in the 54 car and the 22, 35, all of them. I mean, I think it would have been a really good show at the end. I think. Michael, I don't know, like you said, I don't know how much he had left because he was really charging hard, but hey, he'll figure it out. I mean, he's a great racer, and they'll figure it out, and he'll learn how to manage, and I'm sure he'll be up our battle with that 54 again soon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They'll figure it out. But, it's like, the situation with he and Carson, it was a similar situation to later on, following the restart of caution number 5, Trevor Knowles was on the inside of Cody Connor, was to the outside in the same situation coming off too, but Cody tapped that brake and they both was able to continue. So, if Carson would have tapped a brake, maybe so, but they're both out there to race, but definitely the 11 car was the fastest car at the time. So yeah, I'm like I said, like I almost say it every show now. I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions. I'll leave that hard stuff up to you, buddy.
I'm gonna tell you, it's tough. I mean, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, but that's part of this job. I'm always trying, but that deal right there, yeah. I mean, with that unique track with no wall in the backstretch, it sometimes makes for tough calls.
Yeah, and it's hard, for guys that have never raced without a wall.
Right.
Because you use your depth perception coming off of 2. You've got your markers, that people are used to. They find a spot on the wall or what have you. And some of those guys were struggling in the late models and the super late models. And then you get into race, mode with more cars out there, and everybody's trying to beat you, and the track's beating you up. So man, I couldn't imagine doing that. The only guy I can think of that was, 2 guys, and one of them benefited. We'll talk about that here when we start talking about late model. But Jonathan Schaefer races, throughout the Midwest. A lot of those tracks don't have walls around the outer side, and then he races the midget cars. So he's used to that kind of stuff. So I wasn't worried about him. And then road racer. Chad McCumbee, who's road racing, so I figured he wasn't used to walls. So, but everybody else was, worried about walls.
Yeah.
But still, it was on the same playground for everybody. Everybody had to figure it out, and so everybody had their own different ways to deal with it. So, but it was neat to hear the different views that the drivers had on dealing with that. Man, I didn't really think about it until I got here, and I can't find a good place to hit my spot, coming into 3 or coming off of 2, or it was pretty unique. It was neat to hear. Anything else we need to add that you can think of for the super late models? Anything else that stood out that maybe I missed?
No, I mean, congrats to the 54 team again. They did a great job. I mean, they're fast wherever they go. I mean, they've got a really good package right now. And, I mean, Trevor Knowles, really fast. Ran a great race, and Quapple, he put on a great show. Until he had problems, I think I know they broke something suspension-wise from when they with the contact with Rich's car back there. Later on the race, something broke on it. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was something in the suspension, so that's what put him out of the race.
Yeah, I was a little worried because when I was still standing there with Michael Rich's pit area, here come Carson, and his pit stall was right beside Michael. I thought, oh Lord, here we go. But cooler heads prevailed, and all was well.
Yeah, everybody, they kept their cool and. Like I said, we got a bunch of great racers in our super division, and the car count. I hate us down, but we got quality cars, and who knows? What the future holds for the series and everything as far as our super late model car count. It's been a rough year, so to have what we've got and the show that we're putting on is it's good, considering the circumstances.
Absolutely, and hats off to Matt Craig, because the last 2 races he's been very unlike Matt Craig. Let's see, it was Bristol, and then Franklin County had the issues of Franklin County, a mechanical failure in the suspension.
Right.
Something bent on him, but they were able to finish the race, but it threw off the whole handling of the car. And then at Bristol, he really never materialized a good run for the front at Bristol, which I was really surprised, really shocked. Didn't get a chance to talk to him, and I should have. I should have went and talked to him to see if they had found something or changed something. But they looked like they were top on their game again. So Matt Craig victorious there at the Florence Motor Speedway. Let's give a shout to the top 5. Trevor Knowles did finish 2nd. Sammy Smith finished 3rd. He was really confident coming into the night. He really had his eye on the prize for sure. Cody Connor finished 4th, and Justin Kreider out of Statesville rounded out your top 5. And so for all the full field rundown, be sure and check out carsracingtour.com, race22.com, and take a look at the points, because it Matt really helped himself on that, because he had dropped a little for the last 2 races. He's lost points. So let's take a look at the top 10. Matt Craig is your leader. Sammy Smith in second, 17 behind the leader. Trevor Knowles is third, so 20 behind the leader. Cody Connor is in fourth, 28 behind the leader. So those 4 drivers have a legitimate shot at the championship come November 1st. So, even Cody, I still say Cody still has a chance, because you can do a 30-some-odd point swing if everything falls right. So Carson
Absolutely.
Quaffle, he's in 5th. Jeff Batten, 6th. Justin Kreider, 7th. Bubba Pollard, 8th. Jake Garcia, 9th. Stephen Assey is 10th. That's your top 10 in super late models. So once you want to check out your favorite driver, where they stand with the super late models, be sure and check out carsracingtour.com. And with that, let's jump into some late model stock car racing action. Pretty exciting. That was probably the most exciting qualifying for late model stocks that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was interesting. Especially one car.
Yeah, we've been bragging so much on of the 16 of Chad McCumbee, but I didn't think we'd be bragging about this. During qualifying, he left pit road. 3 and 4 was great, and went down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden he's flying through the air off of 3. How much airborne did he get? Because I couldn't see where I was at.
Well, it wasn't too bad, because he landed really well, because he didn't, tear the car up. I mean, he kind of landed pretty softly, and I saw him park it nicely out there in the field, and I could see from the tower where he came to a stop at, and I knew he wasn't hurt. But I knew we had to get him out of that field too. So
and he never got out of the car though, right?
No,
See,
I don't think so.
He was instantly, as soon as it stopped, he was instantly thinking about getting back on the racetrack. See, me, I'd have to take 2-3 weeks off, get my breathing right again. Man, holy cow! Because what he had told me is that the throttle hung, but luckily it didn't stick full open.
Right.
So he said it happened going down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden it took off. So he said he just, guided it towards the softest looking area where there's no trees. So,
right.
And luckily there was no suspension damage, and they got him out of the field, and he didn't take the green flag. So let's kind of go chronologically so folks can follow along. And so he, like if you spin out during qualifying, if you don't take the green flag, everybody goes around, as far as they can, turn around and try to get a good run as they can before they take the green flag. RD Smith did that last year at the 30K race in Orange County and set a pretty good lap, if I remember correctly, doing that.
He did, and we had. And it's a judgment call. I mean, if somebody spins out and you can tell it was pretty intentional, then that's a no-no.
Why would they intentionally
you can't
do
that? Cold temperature sometimes gets tires hot, and I mean, warming babies up a little bit.
I got you.
But it's pretty obvious that Chad McCumbee didn't intentionally drive the car off of turn 3 down the bank into a field. I was, that's a common sense call there. I mean, he come back on the track, and he did come around, and I wanted him to get his tires cleaned off because he just come out of a field, of course, and
he come around and did the back and forth and checked, make sure nothing fell off, nothing was bent, nothing felt weird in the steering wheel, and after just going off the track like that, he turned around and hit it wide open again. And I'm going to tell you that's intestinal fortitude if I ever saw it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because I honestly, I thought, well, he's going to come in and he's going to fix this thing. But he hasn't taken the green flag yet, so it was his choice. And I told him, I told the team, it's his choice. He has not taken the green flag yet. If he wants to make a qualifying attempt because he has not taken the green yet, then, hey, he can go. And so he decided to make that qualifying attempt, and luckily he didn't have any issues during those couple of laps, but he still knew he had an issue.
Yeah.
So he did have to work on it.
Yeah, I talked to him right after, and he said, they didn't appear to be, but he said just to be safe, They're going to pull it out
Right.
of line and take a look at it and just to make sure and be safe. Because he was worried about, because he did get airborne enough where he said the words he used was it whizzed the motor, it zinged the motor pretty good is what he said.
Right.
So I didn't know what he meant at the time, but then he had to explain it to me. Doc Love is ace reporter there, using battery dead on his video equipment and don't know what zinging the motor means.
Well, I tell you, I mean, the main thing of the story here is, I mean, he didn't get hurt,
Right.
and that's the main thing. I mean, and we did get down there quickly to help him out and make sure he was okay, get him back on track, and he made the right decision by working on the car, which was a safety issue, so there was no penalty, and he started to tell the field.
Right.
Hate that because he did have a great qualifying attempt, result there. Excuse me, and but hey, just. Didn't work out for him, so he had to start in the rear, and but he still had a great race.
Yeah, his car was he was top 10 in speed in time trials, even after what he went through. Something like that. He was up there, wasn't he?
He was fourth, I believe. I think it was fourth. It was a really good qual. I mean, he had a good car. I mean, South Carolina, is usually where he races, when he's not running with us. A lot of experience down there, Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, yeah. Road
old
course
Myrtle
racing.
Beach.
So,
Right.
The thing that stood out to me was how calm and cool he was when he got out of the car. I mean, and that's what I told folks in the video I did with him. I said, look, you want to see what it takes to drive these things? After what he's gone through, his heart ain't even beating hard. I mean,
yeah, he's calm, cool.
And cool.
I mean,
and to jump right back on the track and go wide open after just going off the track, I mean, I'm telling you, that's impressive. Man,
yes, it is.
I mean, he's already got a whole lot of fans, so I bet you he just gained a bunch more by just being a true short tracker, because only a true short tracker would do that. Now, he may go off-road racing or road course racing, but he's not in the wine and cheese crowd. He's a short tracker.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, but still, like I said, he was fourth in time trials, but pulled it out of line and told him he's going to start in the back just to make sure, check the car over. Late model stock, Lane Riggs, once again, fast car, 17.720. That's the new track record there for the Cars Tour at the Florence Motor Speedway, setting all new records, first time there. 81.264 miles per hour was Lane Riggs. And he was looking good there for a while. Then he had his issues there. But the field was tight again. I brag about this all the time. Top 10, less than 3.5 tenths. The entire field was less than 8 tenths of a second, well under a second. 21 cars, late model stock cars, on a track most of them's never been on. That's impressive. That is
it is.
I'm so tickled for these guys and the show that they put on. Man, that was one heck of a late model stock car race. That was a lot of fun to watch. But let's see, late model stock. Of course, we had they mined their P's and Q's there for a while with the competition cautions. They only had 4 cautions. We had 5 leaders, 4 different lead changes. Riggs led 28. Johnson, who I was really tickled to see get up there and lead some laps, 40 laps while he was up front.
Yes.
Cox led a lap. Timothy Peters led the most, led 55. And Nolan Pope led, 500 feet?
That's about right. Yeah, about 500 feet. I mean, yeah, the most important 500 feet of the race, too.
That's right. I'm so excited for him. But, Peters, he was, even though he finished second, I know he comes to win, but he was still just smiling from ear to ear because it was fun to race like that, and he was competitive, had a winning car. Maybe a lap short on saving tires, or he said he started too early to make his push towards the front and burn his tires up maybe too much there at the end. Cox was in a Sam Yarborough ride, which is it wasn't, I don't think it was his car that he won there with, but it was the car that he did race at Myrtle Beach Speedway. That's what they said.
I believe that's correct. The 95 car, a really good car regardless. They got good equipment and usually have really good results when they do bring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, he was looking good running up front, and I was really hoping to see him finish well, but he fell out mechanical trouble later. Johnson, I'm really excited for him.
Yes.
Man, he was looking good.
All the bad luck they've had this year, it was good to see Justin Johnson, that team, have
like
a little bit of good luck for a while.
Yeah, it's like the bad luck that was with Riggs last year has now jumped on Johnson. I don't want to say that out loud, but I guess I did. But I didn't want to have to. But that's kind of what it looks like, don't it? Because, man, they had a good car.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Jason Stanley and that bunch, they do a great job, and believe in each other, Justin, Jason, and that team, and they just haven't had the luck. They've had a bunch of crazy things happen and be in the wrong place, wrong time, different things, and for them to jump out front and lead like they did the other night made a statement for what they're capable of doing. I mean, they didn't get the results they wanted the other night, but they showed that they are a good team, and if they do have that luck, they can very well possibly be in victory lane.
Yeah, because on the restart before he fell out, I thought maybe he had missed the gear or double clutched it or something, because I saw some white smoke coming out of as he went down in two, but it sounded like it revved a little high to me.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the beginning of his issues that he had, which I know he had some kind of issue mechanically, but I don't know exactly what it was. But I mean, I don't know if that was the beginning or what happened there, but I did see a little bit on one of those restarts as well.
Yeah, he said it was definitely a motor. They lost a motor, so. But man, just hate it for those guys. I went down there to talk to him. He gave me a good interview, and I know he's heartbroken. But still, like I tell these guys, and I say it a lot. The performance is there, so you can't be, too doom and gloom. The performance is there. The team can do it. These guys can do it. That driver can do it. It's just a matter of everything staying together. So
it's there. The puzzle. It's there. I mean, everything's intact. It's just now you got to just get the results at the very end. That's something they just haven't been able to do this year. But hey, they got one more shot.
Yeah, and that'd be the good one for it to stick together, wouldn't it?
That would be a nice one. That would probably make up for a lot of the pain they've had this year.
All right, and let's. Of course, everybody is waiting for me to ask you about caution number 2, the contact between Lee Pulliam and Minnie Tyrell. Turn 4, coming through turn 4. Both of them was pretty low. Big pile up after they got together. And I'm going to say this first before I even ask you the question. One thing, I watched the replay. Of course, I was there and I didn't see all the contact and who did what and where. One thing I didn't like is when I watched the replay, Tony and Steven were instantaneously quick to put blame on Pulliam because it was the 2 car and because of the history of what Carteret. And I'm telling you, those 2 teams have put Carteret behind them. The driver,
agree.
Brandon, has talked to Minnie and the whole team, and they put that behind them.
Correct.
So, I think a little bit too quick to place blame on a situation like that just because of what is perceived to have happened at another race, at another wreck.
Right.
I
And
really felt like that was just a little too quick to place blame. And, of course, a big pile-up ensued, and, of course, everybody's going to have their opinions. Now, let me ask you this. You had to make a call. And after the post-race, when I went to talk to Lee, he was pretty upset, and I'm thinking, what did I miss? What did I miss? And I didn't realize that he had to be placed to the back as well on that. So talk us through that. You were close enough where you could go watch the replay and, kind of share with us some other factors that go into that. And plus, folks, remember, Danny's calling the race. He's got 100 things going on at the same time. And when you're in the stands as a fan, once you go to caution, you want them to hurry up and go back and racing. So Danny he's got just a few seconds to make this call. Okay? So, but Danny, share with us, kind of what how you saw it and why you had to make the call that you did.
Well, I was watching, the racing going on 3 and 4. The field was, going in 3 and 4. A lot of side-by-side racing. And, saw the crash. I thought, right away that the 2 and 81 got together, which I was correct. They got together, and, the wreck, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was. There was some cars spun around, had some contact. I went over to look, had a few things going on in the tower, like you said. I went and looked at the replay and had them to back it up. At the same time, I'm trying to get back in place to, get everything else going because I had to go to the room next door. I looked at the replay and, I looked at it twice. And, it was hard to tell exactly where the 2-car was located. It looked like the 2-car went into 3. The 81 was a little bit high, and it looks like he rolled in there, and they got together and he spun. And I thought, well, did the 2 lose the front end a little bit and get into the 81 and spin him out? And like I said, I'm rushing to look at this, and I'm not making any excuse or anything. I looked at it, and I come to the conclusion that, I needed to put the 2 to the rear because it looked like he got into the 81 going into 3 and, and caused the caution flag. So there was contact without a doubt between the 2 cars. Couldn't see exactly how low the 2 was on the track. The wall was there. I couldn't tell, I did talk to Lee after the race, which Lee, get a lot of respect for Lee, his dad, the whole family. I mean, race team, I don't have anything against them. I was just trying to do my job and do it the best way I possibly could. And, I looked at it and, Lee, a lot of respect there. I mean, I think he feels the same way about me. I mean, we've talked a lot and, he said that he couldn't go any lower. And I said, it looked like, possibly you wasn't all the way on the bottom. And it looks like you, possibly lost the front end a little bit there. And I said, and I'm not saying you meant to do it, but got into the 81. And, I talked to Minnie, talked to Lee. We all talked it out after the race there. And, we come to the best ending we possibly can. I mean, everybody's not going to be happy in this deal. And, my job is not to tick everybody off or make crazy calls or, I made a judgment call. And, I'm getting a lot of heat from people on this one that are fans of Pulliam and race fans. And, I hate it. I mean, I do. And, I don't want to be that guy. I mean, I'm trying to, I want to, do the best job I possibly can and not put, especially myself on, in this situation to where people question how I'm calling the race or possibly, how I'm going to call, future races. So it was just a deal where I made a call and, I looked at the replay twice and that's what I saw. And then I talked to Lee, I talked to Minnie, I went out to race. I'm not a guy that's going to sit there and run from a call I made. I'm going to go down there and talk it out. We're going to talk about, I'm going to tell them what I thought happened and they're going to tell me what they thought. And at the end, it's what we at the end, what we came to, everybody kind of somewhat agreed on what happened. And, so it is what it is, and I'm not going to share that. And, we move on. And, like I said, I've got a lot of respect for Lee Pulliam. I'm not, don't think, Lee intentionally meant to do anything. And I got respect for Minnie Terrell. I mean, both of them are great teams, family oriented teams as well. I mean, and I've watched Lee come up through the years, from when he started running to South Boston years ago and to what he's become today. A lot of fans, a lot of racers look up to Lee Pulliam. So, I mean, this is, it was a tough decision, tough call for me. And, but, it is what it is, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, and I suggest the fans do the same on some of these issues. You can go on social media and bash the series, bash the drivers, bash this, bash that. What good is it going to do? Now, I remember, let me finish this, Danny. I remember back in March when we couldn't have any racing at all, how everybody wanted racing and just, it seems like it was taken away. Now we can finally have it again. So why find something to complain about?
That's right. And just so you know, I mean, and I want everybody to know this, if you talk bad about a call that I made, or if you got something you want to talk to me about or say something, hey, I'll listen. And all I can do is learn and get better, just like everybody else. And, I mean, whether it's good or bad, they're talking, and I respect all of them. I mean, race fans, I've been there. I've been one of those fans before. At the end of the night, when I sit there and I was like, that stupid race director. And I mean, because I used to race. I mean, if you want to call it that, I used to try to race. And I mean, there was nights that I wanted to, I was like, what was they looking at? What was that? I mean, look, we need to talk about this. And there was some heated conversation. So that's the passion, and that's what I love about this sport. But I just want everybody to know that, I mean, hey, I'm going to keep trying my best to do this job the right way, and I don't have anything against anybody in these situations, and I just try to make the best call that I can, and sometimes you're going to be happy, sometimes you're not, but I'll always try to do the best thing, and but we'll move forward just like we always do.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring forward here is you and the competitors talk about the situations, even if it was a mistake made in the past or whatever on a call. If there was a mistake making on your end, you talk to the competitors, and everybody learns from it, and they move on. The competitors don't hold a grudge. You don't hold a grudge. So I kind of would like to see the fans do the same thing. Move on. Don't keep hanging on to these hatred things. There's a whole lot more worse things in the world, So
right.
Don't lose that passion. I love my race fans. Love the race fans.
That's right. I love every one of them.
Love every one of them.
Right.
But,
we'd all pull for the same driver, and we'd always, have the same opinions, but we show back up at the next race, and that's what matters.
That's right. And you got to love the guys, the fans that are just hardcore for that one driver, whether it's Lee or Minnie or whoever.
Right.
But when something don't go your way, it's time to move on, because the driver has and the team has. So, it's part of racing. It ain't ever going to always be perfect. So, that's just my plea this week. I don't know. That's something that was on my heart. I'm just getting tired to see the same old people follow us around just to have something negative to say. It's short track racing. It's judged by humans, and Danny is a fantastic race director, and not that the complaints were about you. I'm just talking about in general, Danny. It's just, man, let's all enjoy short track racing, because it was taken away from us, and if this election don't go right, it possibly could be taken away again.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I hope. let's pray for the best.
I'm not going to get into politics, but you better start thinking. For the better good of the sport, and quit trying to find something to complain about. That's all I'm saying. I think that's all I was trying to say. Quit trying to find something to complain about.
I feel you. I mean,
there's too many good things going on to complain about the 1, 2, 3 things over and over and over for months and months and months. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's been a lot of cool, good things going for all the, everyone involved. On both sides of whatever side, these things fall on. But there's been a lot of neat, awesome things for the series, for a lot of these drivers, different winners. I mean, there's so many cool things going on, but you got these people want to hang on that 1 or 2 things for months and months and months. It's time to move on.
Right.
So, but anyway, I didn't want to get off my soapbox here now. You had to make another call. Peters got called out. He was ratted out on a restart. Do you recall that one? Caution number 4 on the restart?
I do.
What did he do on that?
He got a little bit. I felt like he made the move, and he was ahead of the control car, and it close, but had to.
He was trying to veteran him, wasn't he? He was trying to do a veteran move, wasn't
he was trying to, and hey, Timothy Peters, he's a veteran, and
yep.
Won a lot of big races, a lot of experience there, but we had to do it again, and the next one was beautiful. It was a great restart, and everything went well in the next one.
Yeah, and man, what a race!
But he had to try it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'd have done the same thing. I understand.
And just think, if he got away with it, man, he was golden.
He was. I mean,
nobody would have thought second else about it.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, what a race those guys put on. All the the different leaders and the different guys running up through the top 5 and falling back and then pacing themselves. Who in the race pool had Nolan Pope before you left the house on Saturday?
I'll tell you what, if you did have him, you're a winner.
If they're listening to us, because we've been bragging on him, and I had that conversation with him on a non-tour race at the Hickory. I snuck up behind him and had a little private conversation with him, and then after all the celebration, everything's over with, I get a chance to interview him. And I wanted to take my time to interview him because I get to know him well, and I get to know his parents well. And bless her, his mom's so sweet. She came over and talked to me Saturday. Just enjoyed talking with her, and we had a good talk and some good laughs. And lo and behold, her son won the race. And through the course of interviewing him, I said, I told you, man, don't change a thing. Don't lose that passion. Keep working hard, and it'll come to you. And when you know, you know. I said, old Doc Love was right. And he said, yep, yes, you were. So that's about the first time I heard that.
Well, I've been,
was right.
Yeah, I mean, I've been telling Nolan all year. I said, man, I talked to him, before the race or whenever, and I'm like, I think you might get you one this year. I said, you got a real good shot. I mean, there's been a lot of races this year that he's put himself in position at the end of the races to, contend for a win. And then there's some races they miss it this year, and you're like, well, what's wrong with them? But their first round for the Cars Tour at Florence. I mean, they'll remember this for a while.
Yeah, no doubt. I was so proud of him. I was so tickled for him. But let's take a look at the top 10 here. They had 21 cars that started the race. So how awesome was that for our first race there at Florence? So still just so thrilled for Mr. Steve Zacharias and the whole group there.
Yes, absolutely. That great
place
job.
Looked wonderful, didn't it? That place was just wonderful, beautiful place.
They're doing a great job. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go back there next year. I mean, I don't know that officially yet, but hey, everything went really well. The fans were great. A lot of fans there. I mean, it was a really great day.
Yep. Yes, it was. And beautiful, absolutely picture perfect weather. It sure was. I don't think a fat guy didn't even sweat on that day, so it was a good day.
That's a good thing.
Nolan Pope, of course, was your winner. He started 5th, ended up 1st. Timothy Peters started 8th. He ended up 2nd. Chad McCumbee, through all his trials and tribulations through the day, he ended up 3rd. How amazing is that? Chad McCumbee, man, what a story that whole day other than Nolan Pope. That is such a neat story. I wouldn't believe it. I didn't see it with my own eyes. The thing that stood out to me, I wish I could have captured when he first got out of the car, was how cool he was. How calm and cool, like nothing ever happened. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'd be screaming and crying, needing oxygen and everything else. But he finished 3rd. Lee Pulliam fought his way back to a 4th place finish, had a really good car, possibly a winning car, but had to use up too much tire to get back to manage a 4th place finish. Jared Fryer, current points leader, he will probably get extra points. Do you get extra points for the hard charger passing the most cars?
Hard charger, no.
Okay.
You get an award. I don't know if you get extra points or not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hate to be so dumb about it, but I don't know. I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure
I know
because I know they get a point for the pole and leading the lap and.
Leading the lap, leading the most laps, and the pole.
Okay.
They get points for that.
Okay. For some reason, I wondered if they got points for that, but anyway, he got the hard charger, passing. He plus 12.
Right.
He was plus 12 on his. Started 17th, finished 5th. Never made a run for the lead, but he was solid right there in the top 5, right there once things got going. Corey Heim was running up front, then had some nose damage when Lee and 81 got together, so they had to pit a couple times and get back to a 6th place finish. Deke McCaskill, so awesome to see Deke back at the racetrack. Started 14th, finished 7th, so great job to those guys. Minnie Tyrell ended up finishing 8th, and Chris Chapman was one of the best finishers of the local guys that was raced there. Chris Chapman finished 9th. Jonathan Finley rounded out the top 10. So for a full field rundown, be sure and check out carsracingtour.com and race22.com. And let's take a quick look at the points because it's going to be tight. Corey Heim and Lane Riggs possibly a shot at it. Jared Fryer is your leader. Lane Riggs only 15 markers back. Man, he lost some points having his mechanical issue. Corey Heim is 17 points back. So going into that last race for $30K, those are your 3 title contenders: Jared Fryer, Lane Riggs, and Corey Heim. So we're going to have a new champion this year. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we are. And like I said before, Jared Fryer, if he lucks up and does win this thing, he'll be the first one to, say he's a super late model and a late model stock car store champion.
Bobby McCarty finished 4th. Didn't really have the race I know he was looking for in the finish. He dropped back to 31 points. I don't think he'll be able to overcome that on a, unless, it'll take mathematically, yeah. Logically, probably not. But Connor Mozak is 5th. Nolan Pope worked his way up to 6th. Jonathan Schaefer, 7th. Jonathan Finley, 8th. Chad McCumbee, 9th. And Minnie Tyrell cracks the top 10 in the points. So for a full points, I think 53 different late model drivers have attempted to make a start at one of our events. Wow. That's pretty awesome on a shutdown year with the pandemic or whatever you want to call it. 53 different drivers. That's impressive. That's
pretty strong.
That's pretty stout for a year and everything that Mr. McNally had to deal with, and changing venues and dates and going to venues we've never been before, taking a chance on Franklin County.
Yeah.
And, man, we should go there because that was one of the best racing.
Stay tuned.
Most of the tracks that we've been to for the first time have produced some of the best races this year. So, that speaks volumes at the caliber of racers that we got. So, real quick here before we let you go, Danny, let's talk about the next late model stock car race, and then we'll get together and do one for the All-American 400, which I got to do my homework. I'm not really I know about it. It's the 36th All-American 400. Used to watch it on TV, but that's about all I know about it. So I got to do some homework on that one. But for up next for the late model stocks, October 24th and 25th, Saturday and Sunday, they'll have practice Friday as well. Race number 10, season finale, $30,000 to win. Late model stock car race at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Oh, Nelly, it's going to be a dandy.
Yes, sir.
And real quick mention, October 29th through November 1st is the 36th Annual All-American 400 Nashville Fairgrounds. That's a combo event, just like Bristol was. The ARCA CRA Super Series, Southern Super Series, ARCA Midwest Tour, and JEG CRA All-Stars, and heck, throw in anybody else. Do you think we got enough series in there running at one time?
There's a few in there. I tell you, that's always a big show. There's a bunch in there. And the best of the best to show up for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal, and luckily they are racing because it's been rescheduled a few times, and that's an important race to the super late models.
Right.
Even myself not being largely into super late models, even I know about that race. So yeah,
been around for a long time.
Yeah, so we'll do a show highlighting the supers in before then. So we'll get together and do that. But once again, October 25th will be the feature on the late model stock car race number 10. They'll have practice Friday. Pits open at 2:30. They'll have practice from 3:30 to 6. That's on Friday, the 23rd of October, down at Greenville Pickens. Saturday, pits gates open at 10:30. Grandstands, when does it open? 4:30, and they'll be practicing in between. So the grandstands for Greenville Pickens will open Saturday at 4:30, and then they'll watch the qualifying, the single car run. Then they'll have the qualifying races in the LCQ. It depends on how many entries they got, and it's growing big time. We're already up to almost 30 already.
We're right there at it. And we're expecting more. So and there's some heavy hitters other than the car store late model stock stars that we already have. There's some heavy hitters from outside that are jumping on there, and we hope there's some more. I know we got a few more races that this weekend. I think they got Dominion. I think some of the guys will probably make their decision next week whether they're going to come play with us or not. And we hope a lot of them will consider doing that.
Yeah, just like we said in another podcast that with Martinsville not happening, teams have had budgets, in their, beginning of the year to say, okay, for sponsorships, here's what we can do. And then we have Martinsville, and if they have money set aside for that already, hey, why not come down to Greenville Pickens, and maybe we'll see more Virginia drivers. So I think we're going to start seeing more Virginia drivers signing up for that.
I agree.
So back where we were Saturday, pre-race at 7, race green flag for Saturday, 7:15. And they'll have the qualifying races, the heat races, whatever you want to call them. The LCQ will be the last thing of the night. And then, folks, plan to make both days because Tyler Hatley, local guy, has his band. Is going to be there in the Turn 1 stage. So we're going to have a good concert, country and western. Is that what you call it these days?
Yeah. Different strokes. I mean, yeah.
Country,
there's
or is it
different
country and
there's
western?
country, there's country western, there's pop, there's a
Well,
little bit of everything out there.
Yeah, but
And
Tyler
then some
Hatley,
say they're all.
Tyler Hatley will be doing his concert there after the racing
Right.
action on Saturday. So I think that is just fantastic.
That'll
That's
be
gonna
awesome.
So much cool to wind down on a Saturday afternoon. So that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Wish I could be there for that for sure. But fans, make your plans to be there and support Tyler and the racetrack. Anthony Anders and the Cars Tour. And all these drivers, you never know who you might be rubbing elbows with watching that concert, man. It might be time to mix it up with some of the drivers. So, all right, for Sunday, grandstands open at 12 noon. They'll have a live pre-race show, 1 to 2. Driver introductions at 2. Green flag at 3 o'clock on Sunday. 3 o'clock. Sunday, the 25th of October, for $30,000 to win 200 laps, 200 green flagged laps. Let's make sure we preface that. A lot of money, not just $30,000 for the purse.
Oh no!
There's all kinds of money, and you got to take a look at this. Lots of contingency awards, the qualifying race winners, last chance race winner. Now, let's say if you win the last chance race, and then does that put you in no? That's the last race today. All right, so. You win the last chance race or qualifying heat race. That's $250 cash. And plus, there's several more. I got to make sure I understand what I'm saying. Most lad laps, 500. Hedgecock Pole Award, $250. Hard Charge Award, $100. All right. The leader at lap 50, $2,000. Leader at lap 100, $2,000. Leader at lap 150, $2,000. Leader at lap 200, $30,000. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
So if you do the math, I think if we added up correctly, if a driver goes down there, or a team goes down there and just dominates everything that's available, I think they could walk out of there with like $37,000 or something like that.
37, yeah. Total posted awards and money from the series, $86,000 for the entire weekend.
Yeah, if you've got a late model stock and you love to race late model stocks, we'd love to have you down there at Greenville Pickens for our season finale. I think it's going to be a really big show. It's a lot of pit area, a lot of room for all of you. Yeah. Just the more the merrier. Bring them on.
Yep, and they got trackside parking all around the track. Now, it's laid out a whole lot different than the last time I was there. Apparently, they got the tier trackside parking Mr. McNally was telling me about. So for prices and advance tickets and things like that, I would, if you wanted to trackside parking, I would order that today. And be sure and go on the carsracingtour.com. Carsracingtour.com. And where it says the schedule, then click on, buy tickets, get all the details there. There is, they'll have packages and things like that. But the trackside parking, I'm saying it's going to go pretty quick. But they can pack in a whole bunch of folks over there. So they got combinations for the 2 days, 3 days, and then if you need a pit pass, be sure and check that out. But be sure and get your advance tickets only at carsracingtour.com. The advance ticket sales, don't call the track. It's at carsracingtour.com, according to the sheet that I printed here for the Old North State Nationals. So, you as a race director, when you put that kind of money on the line, does it seem to interfere with the oxygen flow and blood flow from the drivers to their thought process? Does it seem to lose a lot of brain activity when you put a lot of money on the line, doesn't it?
It makes a guy lean towards alcohol and nerve pills, but but probably not at the same time. You may want to separate them. But all jokes aside, I'm not going to approach it any different than any other race. I mean, I know there's a lot on the line. Like I said before, I'll just do the best job I possibly can do, and I mean, we're not going to mix it up. I'm going to be same old Danny. I'll be trying to, always talk to all the drivers, teams, and let them know I appreciate them being with us. And, and the ones I've never met before, I look forward to meeting them. I always try to, tell the new teams if I can, I try to tell every one of them, hey, thanks for racing with us. If you need anything, let us know. I used to be one of these racers, and, there was some times that I wished that somebody would have told me, hey, thanks for coming, or pat on the back, or knuckles, or something, just that little bit means a lot. I mean, I know our series pays good money, and we've got, a lot going on for us right now, thankfully, during the tough year we've had, like we've talked about, but, I really, my heart really is in this sport, and I really do take my job seriously, and but at the same time, I'm also one of the gang. I want to let everybody know I appreciate them.
No, absolutely. Same here. Taking a look at some of the drivers on the early list. I didn't print one off today. I'm showing it's grown already. We're almost at 30 drivers already. But the sheet that I have, how about Jeff Foltzy going to be in a late model stock car?
I did. I saw Jeff got a ride for that race.
Already see two hot shoes, local guys, Satterfield and
Satterfield, yes.
Cameron Bolin. Both of them are
correct.
I think that'll be settled this coming weekend for the track title. So both of those guys are in contention for the track title. So those would be two local hot shoes joining us, and
right.
But most of the early guys you see joining is on the list is the regulars from the Cars Tour. Riley Gentry's on there from
Riley
East.
Gentry. Yep.
Let's see, I saw another name, Jason Marchbanks. He's out of Anderson, South Carolina. So glad to have him on there. But,
absolutely.
Somebody was asking me, have I ever run there before? I wasn't too sure since I just started back doing this stuff. But sure enough, the series has. Now, did you work with the series when they were there before?
I did. I've been with the series since they started this late model stock, super late model deal. So I've been there with them since race one. So yes, I was.
Cool.
And last time we were there, we ran both divisions down there. But this time, the focus is on the late model stocks, of course.
Matt Craig won the, no surprise, Matt Craig won the super late model race last time we were there, and Tommy Lemons Jr. won the race there for the late model stocks, and Chad McCumbee, imagine that, he finished second, so he'll be tough there. Josh Berry.
I'll tell you, I miss Tommy Lemons. I mean, if he's listening, Tommy, I miss you, brother.
Yeah, we miss you being there. You and that long locks that you grow look real good on you. I'm catching you, though. I see
that. Yeah, I'm glad y'all got that option. Yeah, mine's falling out and y'all's is growing. It must be nice. Smile.
We're glad we got that option. That's funny. Josh Berry, he raced the first time around, finished fourth. He is on the list. Josh Berry is on the pre-entry list. He will be driving, of course, car out of a stable there. Junior Motorsports, but it'll be a number 8 car. So he'll be one to factor with. Deke McCaskill, I don't see his name on there yet, but I sure hope to see him there. But he raced.
Yeah, I don't believe he's on there yet, but I hope something works out for Deke to be with us. I really do.
Austin McDaniel, he raced with us at Hickory. I don't see him on there, but that's the only 4 or 5 drivers that are active that race late model stock car. Ronald Hill's on there. I missed him. Ronald Hill.
Ronald.
He should be down there racing, I hope. Yep, he's on the list already. Because I'm going to miss, let's see, Ronald Hill, so that's another one. Other than that, all these our regular late model stocks never run there. So
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a really good mix of cars, I believe. It's going to be really, really competitive. I mean, I know it's going to be. I mean, to mix our regular guys that are competitive wherever they go against guys that are showing up that are competitive wherever they go, plus mix in the great locals they got down there, Greenville Pickens. I mean, you don't want to miss this.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Chan McCumbee led 62 laps there, even though he didn't get the victory. So I expect him to be, as long as we can keep him on the track, I think he'll be good.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's walls around this one. So we want to make sure we're turning left the whole time.
Yeah, it's neat. If you've never been to Greenville Pickens, definitely plan to be there for this. That is a historical track. Most of the times when you say, what was the first race broadcasted live on ABC or whatever news network, everybody usually say the Daytona 500 79. Well, that's not correct. That's the first Daytona race that was broadcast live. The first ever NASCAR Cup highest level, whatever it was called back then, TV broadcast ever was from Greenville Pickens Speedway.
I've heard that.
That is a fact. That is a fact. It was what they call it back then, the Wide World of Sports.
Wild World of Sports.
It was televised April 10th, 1971, Greenville Pickens Speedway, a year after it was paved because it ran dirt up until 1970. And Bobby Isaac won that race. It was on ABC Wide World of Sports in prime time.
Wow.
Broadcasters in the booth were Jim McKay and Chris Economaki, and Ken Squire served as pit reporter.
Wow,
so
great Bobby Isaac.
Yep, and that was the first live broadcast, flag to flag, of any Cup race, any NASCAR race, and it was at Greenville Pickens Speedway. How cool is that? But Anthony Anders, track promoter, and he's a former racer. Some of these folks that are just now getting into the late model stocks and racing, Anthony Anders, just like you, I think
former national champion,
2014.
That's right.
Just like you, I think it's an advantage to have a former racer in your position, and I think the track promoter, being a former racer, I think that is a big bonus too, because look at the changes he's done to that since the last time that I've talked to him was with Race22 Radio when we had the live show 2 years ago in spring before the season, and look at the changes they've done just since then. That place is a family entertainment area, so not just racing, but it is family friendly no matter where you go and what you visit on that properties there. So it's that is kudos to him, doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
I understand that he is when he took it over in 2015, it was a 6-year lease, so with the option to buy. So now he's in his 5th year, so I'm wondering if he's already, did the option to buy, or, what his outlook is. And hopefully I can get him on here and do a podcast with him before the big 30K race and talk to him about those things. So I'd like to get him on and talk about that. So Anthony, if you're listening, call me. We'll chat.
That's right. But, Doc loves the chat, so give him a call.
That's right. We'll do a house call there for him.
That's right.
But yeah, when you look at the names that have raced there, not just on the one Cup races there, but because they raced Cup there until 1971 before they started getting away from the short tracks.
Yeah. Something around there. Yeah.
Some of the track champions, Butch Lindley, and then his son Marty
Lindley.
I mean, man. Buddy Howard won 4. Donnie Bishop won 6. Marty Ward won 6. Those are some just killer names in the world of short track racing, especially in the South Carolina area. Pete Silva won 2 championships. Dexter Knipe, who normally races at Hickory, won his national championship down there racing. Between there and Hickory. Randy Porter won 3. Track championship. My buddy David Roberts has won 2. Anthony Anders won 2, and then in 2014 was the national champ. So take a look at some of those names that are in short track folklore. Man, that's a lot of history there, and I just think that's
A lot of history.
awesome when you take a look at getting to go visit a place like that, especially if you're a fan and getting to go there for the first time. Man, that just makes it that much more exciting. So, Ralph Earnhardt, he won 2 track championships there. Not just raced there with the Cup stuff when they come around. He actually won 2 track championships there. So, it shows how important that track was to the growth of NASCAR racing or short track racing. Stock car racing in general. So
yes,
so that's
a lot of
just,
history.
A lot of history there. That's what I just love about tracks like that in Hickory, and each track are having their own history. It's like Florence. They started out a dirt track, and one of the most unique tracks that we go to now without that back wall out there. And it makes the sound different there. Because the sound vibrates off that back wall, and if there's a hill there and it kind of circles around, it's kind of funny if you study sound the way I do, and then that's the first thing I noticed is that nothing was there to help it bounce back at us. So you don't
it's kind of
really
quiet
hear them.
when it went down the back.
you don't hear them till they're on the front stretch. So and it made it easy to do interviews during the races and stuff. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Still unclear if I'm gonna be able to work it out to be there. When we were talking about that before, everybody thought I was talking about Florence. So when I come be bopping through the pits, I thought you couldn't make it. So I had to explain to them, no, that's for the 30K race. Anyway, really enjoyed. Before we let you go, Danny, really enjoyed talking to everybody there in the pits and that are listening to these podcasts. Man, it really makes us feel what we're doing, Danny, is something really big. It's really important because everybody that I just bumped into or came to talk to me, talked about listening to it and getting something out of it. So that made me real proud of what we're doing, Danny. And the only reason why I do it is for the fans. So I was at awe at some of the folks that were come and spoke to me that, because I had the big, billboard on the backside of my shirt, Race 22. People figured out, when you talk Race 22 and fat, it's either me or Langley. Well, Langley ain't leaving Franklin, so that would be me.
Oh boy. No.
So people introducing themselves, and man, I talked to so many awesome people in Florence, and just, man, Usually I have a hard time, driving down and back for a 3-hour, one-way trip. But, man, I was just glowing all the way back. That's all I could talk about is how many people, came to talk to me about what we're doing here, Danny. So I just wanted to let you know you're a big part of this, too. Not that, you only get attention when the race director has to make a call. But people are getting something out of this. And they just warmed my heart, man. I was just so elated that, to hear some feedback from the fans. Because it's been a while since we really started this, that I've been able to get out there and talk to folks. So I just can't say that I appreciate that everybody that came and spoke to me, how much I appreciate everything you said and everything we talked about when we talked about short track racing, whether it was about a driver or whatever situation. I talked with everything about everybody, so. I just can't say thank you enough. I know it sounds like I'm babbling and rambling on, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody that responded, and we really appreciate it so much. And we hope to keep this thing going, and we'll continue to have fun with it because it's a lot of fun, and I love doing it with Danny. He's been a long time friend in the racing business, and I've seen you go from the flag stand to the announcer, not the announcers, but you could do that too, I'm sure, to calling the races, and you've done a fine job at no matter what position you hold, and I really like it that it's whenever you go to the track, you got your dad and your son, and it's a family affair, and I just think the world of Brandon, and of course love your dad to death, so it fits what I want to do in racing these days, and I love the series. I absolutely just I'm eat up with the series. I love it so much. The racing, the people, the drivers, the crew all seem to really appreciate what we're doing. And but the fans, I talked to a lot of fans, and man, it really warmed my heart. It really did. So just wanted to share that with you, Danny.
I feel the same way you do too. I mean, I really do. It means a lot that people, mention to me they listen to this and, they say, hey man, I listened to it tonight. That's a good show, and I mean, just little things like that mean a lot to me. I mean, I'm a simple guy, I work a 40-hour week job, and, on the weekends we have a little fun and do a little racing. And, I'm lucky enough to be the race director for the Cars Tour and, for some other deals also in racing as well. I'm very lucky to do those. And just to hear people, say hello. I had a gentleman, walk up to me at Florence down there as soon as I got there when they started letting fans in. And he looked at me and he said, hey, how you doing? And he said, how's your son doing? He said, I remember, he had an issue last year at Southern National down there.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. And I said, he's doing really well. I said, take his medication, hadn't had any problems or anything, but just it's like the guy, knew me. And,
exactly.
Right. And I sit there and chat with this guy a couple minutes and I, of course, practice was getting ready to start and I tried to talk to him as long as I could. And I told him how much I appreciated him asking me that and just, stuff like that, just the racing family. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, if you don't have that bond like that, and if that ever goes away, then I probably won't, be there anymore. But as long as we've got this and, communicate and everybody acts like they care about each other and, we all get mad. We all have bad days in this deal. But like I said, we all come back, and that's the main thing. And that's right, a beautiful thing.
Because, we share more than just racing things. We share parts of our lives on here because that's part of the whole thing. We do it as a family, you and I both, me and Redhead and Daniel, and you and your dad and your son. So it's, we share a lot of our lives, and it means a lot when folks have listened to, each show and they ask about our family. And,
right.
Sometimes Redhead, she said, I don't know, I kind of feel, kind of silly, people asking about me. She said, I don't have a part with us. Well, she's a bigger part of this, whether she knows it or not, because she's a celebrity. She don't know it, but she's a celebrity.
That's right. I mean, we're all in this together, Lights, camera, action.
That's right. Before we let folks go, don't forget, for the October special, Black Acid Racing Apparel, check them out on Facebook. The big deal alert is for October only. Teams can purchase 4 hoodies, 4 long sleeves, and 4 beanies, all for just $250. And that offer ends October 31st at midnight. So be sure and connect with them on Facebook, Black Acid Racing Apparel. So we will make sure if you do, call them and say, hey, man, we heard Doc and Danny talking about it on Race22 Radio. So be sure and let them know that. But yeah, that's a fantastic deal. So everybody should take advantage of that. So that's for 4 folks. That's all you need for a crew, 4 people.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's all my son ever wears is hoodies. I mean, all the time, hoodies. So, heck, I probably have to get him hooked up on this deal. I'll tell him to give him a call.
That's right. You know it. All right, Danny. Appreciate fantastic work as always. Fantastic races at Florence Motor Speedway. Looking forward to the epic event coming up at Greenville Pickens Speedway. And Danny, we certainly appreciate you and doing a fantastic job. And folks, we hope to see you at Greenville Pickens or at a short track near you. So until then, we'll see you at the races.
Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.